All right, hey guys, welcome to the Open Minded Podcast with me, your host, Levi Koritz, and we've got our guest here today, Matthew McClure.
Hello.
All right, here today we're just going to be talking about kind of like, it's the idea of like men's mental health and that, and
Yep.
just around that topic. So we've just got a couple of questions and we'll start off with like, do you think men's mental health is kind of like talked about enough? Like,
God, no.
you don't think so?
No, okay. It does get talked about, but the problem is a lot of guys who do suffer through it, it's like the whole like masculine thing. A lot of people don't really talk about it a lot because they'll be like, oh, or like, this is from my personal experience, they don't think they're depressed.
Yeah.
And they go like, oh, I can easily just suffer through it. It's not that bad. Or kind of like, how do I explain this? They're more... Okay, this is going. I'm trying to like.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Because my brain doesn't like the. It's trying to think about it, but basically, it's like this whole toxic masculinity. They think they have to, try and like, not show a lot of emotion, especially with mental health and depression.
Yeah.
And like that's why a lot of people, especially men, don't talk about their own mental health, and they're always like, "Oh, it's fine."
Yeah, I find that like even like my personal experience as well. I found that like you kind of like, even though like people say, oh, it's okay to talk about it, it's okay to like be open to people, you kind of don't, because like it's that thing where you pick up from like other like men and like other people that it's like, oh, like you want to deal with it yourself and not really want to like burden other people in a way.
Yeah.
And then also because it's that fear of like, oh, if I do this, like I look weak or whatever, and that kind of thing. That's just what I find as well.
It always does come down to just like how you were raised and taught, and especially with guys, it does go to a point where it's like, I have to be a man, and a man is this person who doesn't seem to show a lot of emotion.
Yeah, it's like that. It's like the classic like the Kiwi bloke kind of thing,
Yeah.
and it's like the whole like like play rugby and,
Like stoic and
stoic,
like hard,
not
and all
show
that.
emotions and all that. Yeah, we've got it's just because also it's that whole thing is like, even though people say one thing, how they act, you're more likely to pick up on how they act, and, like take from like how they act than like what they say.
This is just like a completely random thing as well. I do think it also depends on if you were more raised by your mother or your father. Because especially in New Zealand, is what you said with a New Zealand bloke kind of thing. Evidently, I don't want to joke about it, but I didn't, grow up a lot with my dad, and I didn't have a lot of connections with my stepdad later on. But I was more with my mother.
Yeah.
And evidently, I later on became more attuned to my emotions and able to like tell them to people.
Yeah.
And later in high school, it got really bad, and I didn't really talk about it. I said it was fine. It's not really.
Do you think that like because like the way you were like brought up obviously with like that whole situation, do you think that like kind of impacted like how you like viewed like or like how you acted when it came to like your mental health and that?
I think so. More for the fact that it was like, because it's like because with guys, it's like they were more attuned to their dads. Because I more attuned to my mother, it was more in the sense of, mum was like, oh, it's fine to show emotion and all that. But if it's like, well, I have no idea. Well, most guys' dads will probably be like, will like show off like a more hardier approach because they're seen as the father figure of the family. So they're seen as like they have to be that man. But because I didn't connect with my dad, well, my biological dad, and then my stepdad, it was kind of like I had to see someone, so I saw my mum.
Yeah, no, I found that like a lot of dads and they have that view of like, oh, it's like I'm like kind of the leader in a sense of the family, or I have to like protect them, take care of them, and so I can't show this. I can't bring down, or like I can't show this emotion because I need to be the wall or like the thing that they feel comfortable with, kind of thing. And then I think that's kind of bad if they have like a son, because then it's like, oh, then they pick up on that and start acting that way even before, just as they're growing up in general, they just kind of feel that way.
It's like the whole thing of like with traditional families, ages ago, right? Yeah, like the father was always seen as like the person who protects the family, and because you're trying to protect the family, provide for them, you have to show only a certain amount of emotions and certain emotions, but not show other emotions.
Yeah,
because you're seen as like the head of the family. You have to be You're like the figurehead, if that makes any sense.
You're like
in traditional families.
Yeah, you're like the person that everyone goes to like
Look up
be
to.
comforted and stuff like that. And you can't. And if you're like showing like I guess weakness in a sense, you're like, oh, you can't really, do that. Even though I don't. Yeah. Even though I think that you can do both. Very like, it's just I've gotten And then on that note, what do you have like a strong like male role model like in your life?
I would love to joke and say Jesus, but not a strong one. Not really. I think actually here's a really funny story. When I was really young, I would go. This is like when I was like 5-ish, 6-ish.
Yeah.
My mom would be waiting outside to pick me up, and I would go up to random guys saying "Dad." I remember my mom told me that story, and I'm like, oh
no,
that's okay. I think that's funny, but but I don't think I have that really really strong one, like the one who I really connect to. Like I might latch on to friends better than I've latched on to my stepdad, which is not really a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
depending on who it is.
Yeah, like I guess like with my family, because I've like with my dad quite like strong like role model in that sense, where he's good because he talks about, he's like, oh, like he's not like this whole like he's not big burly like he's like it's like, oh, it's okay to do this, like there's nothing wrong with this, like and that whole thing.
I will also put this as well with my stepdad. My stepdad is a trucker, so he's basically blue collar, and same thing. Before he became a trucker and did like logging, trucking, and he does saw chipping now. My stepdad worked at the Aussie gold mines.
Oh yeah.
So he is blue collar.
Oh, like very.
Like he and so like evidently deep in Aussie mines, like I think over somewhere in Aussie. It's kind of like stupid.
Yeah. I was just gonna talk about like but no, I think there are outlets that like not just young men, but also just like men in general use as like an escape to like kind of ignore their mental health or ignore like the issues that are like happening.
What would you say is an outlet? Would you? Because
I don't want to go like, well, I guess it is extreme in a sense. Like drug abuse.
Oh, so
and
okay.
It doesn't have to be that extreme. It could also be, I don't know, gaming, something like that.
I was just basically saying it's like something that a guy would use to distract himself.
Yeah, like in a way.
So they think that their situation's actually a lot not as bad, but as
whereas they're not addressing the issue that they have. Like if they're on like a mental decline, or they just don't have a good mental like mind, they don't have like a healthy mindset, and that they're kind of using like gaming or like other, I don't know, like drugs.
An escape.
Yeah, using an escape to try and get out of that. And I think it is quite difficult when you're doing that.
Yeah.
And you're kind of in denial about like your mental health. It's quite hard to kind of be like, oh, this is something that I have to address instead of just like ignoring it and like
pushing it to the side, saying, oh, this is giving me a happiness, but over a certain amount of time that will like stop. It will like, I don't want to use the whole drug thing because evidently you brought it up. It's kind of like the whole thing with drugs. Your body builds up a tolerance, so you need more and more. So it's the same thing with gaming. Like you use gaming for like a handful of minutes, handful of hours, then it gets more and more progressive, and then it gets worse and worse.
Yeah, it's a dopamine thing. Like where you get more dopamine and your body gets used to it, so it needs more to get that same kind of rush in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you okay? So this is weird. This is a really weird question because I actually want to get to know this. How bad has mental health affected you, if that makes sense? How bad have your mental health been affected, and how did you personally, as a person, did you get through that?
Okay,
I know you're not properly there yet, but you're a lot better than...
Oh, well, I never had, like, I never had, like, depression or anything. Like, I still get sad, but, like, everyone, like, it's an emotion. Everyone feels sad. It's not like it wasn't enough where I'm like, this isn't, like... depression. I am someone who does get quite anxious a lot. Like I get anxiety like for the smallest things, like like when I'm honestly like when I'm hanging I've planned to like hang out with people and they're coming to like pick me up or something. I literally get anxiety about that. Like
Really?
even the smallest stuff where I'm talking to myself, I'm like why are you getting anxious about this and that? And it got to the point like I think the worst one I had it was when I kind of lost my appetite because of it. So like I almost like couldn't eat and that, and because I was anxious whenever I thought about it and that, and then I was like, oh, I'd buy food and then I'd eat like a bite or like a couple bites and then I'd just like throw it away because it's like, oh, well, I can't eat the rest and then I can't take it with me. So it's kind of not. It's also wasting money in that sense as well. But no, that's kind of the worst that I got it. And then, oh no, because also with the anxiety, I couldn't sleep as well. Like I'd have shit sleep because just anxious all the time.
You're always thinking about
I couldn't
something
fall
else.
asleep because I had anxiety, but I couldn't pinpoint in that moment why I was feeling it.
Mm.
So I kind of just had to wait till basically I fell asleep due to like exhaustion, basically. And then I'd wake up earlier than I should because I was anxious.
Yeah.
And I guess how I dealt with that was kind of just, honestly, it was kind of just, in a way, getting used to it. Like, it happened so often where I'm like, oh, I've been through this a million times. I know what happened. I always, like, come out the other side fine and that. And then I kind of...
So you kind of knew that even your body and your mind was, like, thinking about something, like, and being anxious about something, you knew that you're going to be fine anyway.
Yeah.
So you didn't have to... There was no true worry to be
yeah, I guess
because your mind's making up a worse situation than it actually is, and then you come out, you do it, and it's like, oh, that wasn't it.
Yeah, it's like, oh well, like that's all that was. Because like I remember a massive thing is with the anxiety when I was trying to fall asleep, it'd be like, oh, I have to wake up like in the morning. Now I don't want to be like I was almost like anxious because it's like, oh, I'm gonna be like shattered when I wake up. I'm not that tired. It's like, okay, so it's not that bad. Even if I was shattered, I'd still like deal with it, get through it, be fine and that. So it's kind of like part of it was I was getting used to it, and then so in a way that kind of gave me comfort, and kind of in the way getting more used to the anxiety kind of made it less, like me have less anxiety with it, that kind of thing. And I guess just also just trying to give myself like positive reinforcement in that in like any like way possible.
Oh,
yeah, just trying to like add like more routine to my life. Definitely
like
helps.
More like things to do.
Mm.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's not even that. It's just more like, every morning, like wake up same time, make sure I have like a pattern at least in the morning that I can stick to, because then it's like, like it's like I wake up, have breakfast, whatever, shower, make bed, all that stuff, just to try and
keep your mind busy.
Yeah, or kind of just like stabilize my mind a bit, and then kind of like, I guess that did improve like my anxiety. Like I still get quite anxious from time to time. It's just nowhere near as bad as it was then. Yeah. Well, like, what about you? Like,
okay, this is trauma dump. So generally about my mental health, back in year 11, I didn't. The thing now, I had really low confidence, really low self-esteem. And this is like, I compared myself a lot to people, influencers and people around me. And it's kind of like, oh, because back in year 11, year 10, you probably know this, I was basically a tub of lard molded into a ball, right?
I don't know.
But that's how I thought myself as. And it got to the point where I thought I was really annoying. And I didn't like myself. And I really hated how I looked. I didn't think I was going to get someone. I didn't think I was going to do this, and that. I've told the people in the other room, maybe Kieran, you want to hear an actual quote in my head that I told myself for maybe a few months straight?
Yeah.
I think it would be better if I'd killed myself.
Oh, God, yeah.
That was a genuine thought I had.
Yeah.
And that lasted maybe year 11-ish. Like almost through year 11.
Yeah.
And so what I did, because it was all appearance-based, was I can't just sit here and do nothing. So that's why I got into the gym. That's why I got into more fitness workout. And using that gym, the one thing I learned is that a lot of people don't really care.
Yeah.
And you were just, like, especially in the gym, everyone has a different goal. Everyone has a different situation. Everyone has done things more longer than you, or has done, or just started. Someone has a different life than you. It's the whole thing of it. It will take time. It took a lot of time to get that confidence up. It still is not there to where it should be, but I don't cry myself to sleep often. I don't want to say I used to do it like week after week, but I now only do it like every handful of months. So it's like I'll like try to go to sleep, and then like it will like spiral out of control, those thoughts. But yeah, I don't really say I have really bad mental health. I do definitely think I was close, but I never said I have depression because of the fact that I was never diagnosed. I might have, because evidently those are really bad thoughts. Another thing I did was, because those were all related to my friends, it was always like, I think I'm annoying my friends, especially Jonathan. That was like the one person it was always like the main focal friend that I had at the time. And over time, I just kind of I didn't vent, but I kind of just talked to him, and he did give me positive affirmations. He did reinforce me and all this as a friend, which, great guy. There was something I had to say. But the thing is, evidently, because I thought I was worse than I actually am, a lot of those words didn't help me. Because I don't think there's a weird part of my brain who thinks that certain like thoughts and certain like compliments are weirdly insulting. I don't get that now, but I don't feel right sometimes still. Yeah. But that evidently I just came with confidence that I had to like actually care for myself, actually love myself, and yeah.
Yeah. For the I was going to talk about with that compliment thing. Was that more of like a did your brain kind of receive it as a like something condescending, or was it
pity?
Oh, yeah.
If that makes any sense. So like, you're only doing it just to not feel good, but you're like, how do I...
You didn't think it was genuine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah. I think because definitely in high school, I was definitely... it was weird. I was a lot more worried about like what people thought. Like definitely like not just friends, but like, you know, people around the school.
General people.
Yeah, just like... Yeah, not even in high school. Like... Just like people outside of the school as well. It was like, oh, what do these people think about me? Like, oh, am I doing like weird, that kind of thing. But then leaving high school and then going to uni, like towards the end of high school, I kind of had that mindset of like, oh, I don't care what other people think. And then you hit uni, you're like, oh, well, no one cares. Yeah. Like, I literally, I saw some, like, dude walking past me one day with a shirt that just, like, said, I love your mum or something. And no one batted an eye. I was like, that was, like, my first week at uni. I was like, all right, no one cares.
Yeah, I think, because in high school, if you don't fit the status quo, the cliches of, like, other, of the main groups, so, like, be it, like, mostly the sports people, because they're always the most out-talking, outspoken people, you don't fit into that. You feel, or like even the smart kids, you feel out of place. Especially me. I felt really weirdly out of place, evidently, because I didn't do sports. I was really nerdy. As I know you were same thing as well, but like it just ate at me.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing about high school as well. The thing in high school is that depending on where you come from, you're coming from either a small school going to a very large school, so you're like trying to either fit in a lot and then trying to like do all these things, but you're not truly who you are, kind of thing. And it's like you're either doing it just to please either your friend group, or you're just trying to make yourself feel better. Like again, like, as a general escape from who you truly are.
Yeah.
And even if you have like a mental health problem, you're trying to use like certain actions that you've done and using those as like an excuse or something. I feel.
I found that and at least what helped me like during high school was like, you know, we would sit in like obviously in the art room and like talk, and I think that helped a lot because that environment was quite like, it wasn't like a toxic environment. It was
safe to a degree where you can say anything, but you could also get bullied for it, but it's not in the sense of like you're like bullied, but it's kind of like, you know,
I feel
something really stupid, like a fun joke or something.
Yeah, I felt like there was more like a bit of stick in that, and then No, I found the art room was quite or at least the back of the art room where we like would sit and like hang out, even like during break. I quite liked it because it was kind of not too many people would like go there and stuff. You could just kind of talk in there and like obviously you give each other like a bit of stick in there, but it was like it was never in like a, or at least when it was towards me, I never felt like it was genuinely like
There was no genuine malice.
there's no malice with it. It was just like it was just like a bit of fun in there.
Yeah.
It was never any genuine like hate in there.
Yeah.
No, I thought that was, I had that like, it was quite a safe space for me, I guess. Like, and that I do think that kind of helped with my mental health during high school.
I think another thing as well, especially that art room, is that because we're all friends, evidently we kind of just gave each other like a lot of, we bantered a lot.
Yeah.
To the point where it's like, oh, I can get used to these words being said to me by someone else, even though there's no malice. Again, no malice behind it. But when I would say it to myself, there'll be weird malice. But over time, it lost its meaning.
Yeah.
Those words. If that gives me any sense, that's also like a really nice thing that little small room helped.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But we'll cut it there. But like, thanks Matthew for like coming in and like talking about like mental health and that. And thanks a lot. This has been the Open Minded Podcast. Thanks.